two of my best friends from college, telling them that I was not much longer for this earth. I told them what to tell my mom. I told them what to tell him. I gave them specific instructions on what to bury me in. I was not looking for attention. I was not looking for pity. I was not looking for negotiations. I was making arrangements. Those girls said the most lovely things to me, the most supportive, beautiful things to me. And I turned off my phone. I went to my server job one last time, and it was very slow that day, and I was standing up against a door frame, and a coworker passed me by, and I just mumbled, "What do you do when you can't seem to climb out of the darkness?" And she and I weren't that close, but she knew exactly what I was talking about. And she grabbed my hand, and she started to speak with such passion that she started to cry, I started to cry. She told me that it'd be a slap in God's face to take away this life He'd given me. She told me that I could never, ever, ever, ever give anyone that much power over me. She said that she would even take me to church to help me find my way back to the light. She spoke a really good word right there in that restaurant, but it did not take. The next day I was sitting up in bed, not having slept, and it was raining all day that day, like non-stop. It was 18 degrees, and it felt like 7 because I checked my iPhone app. And I opened up my window, and I climbed out into my slippery 5th floor fire escape, and I draped my legs over the edge of it. And I just sat there and I screamed, "Please, please just take me, let me fall." I didn't have the courage to jump, but a slip, like an accident, I wouldn't fight that. I'd get right into that. I did not feel the rain. I just remember my wool socks being wet. I didn't feel the cold. I was sweating. I don't know how long I was up there. But then UPS. It's my last moments, like, can I at least have that? UPS delivery. And then I remembered. I ordered a wig 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
And in a moment of pure Alfie clarity, I thought, well, it'd be a shame if we didn't slay the girls one good time in that day. It's funny, but it's the first time that I heard my voice inside my head in months. So I climbed back into my window. I opened the door, dripping wet, the guy was gone, of course. I picked up that box, I took it to my bed, and I just hugged it for about 30 minutes. A fucking wig. Like, my friends couldn't do it. This lovely person offering to take me to church couldn't do it. A fucking wig did it, y'all. How embarrassing. I owed my life to that yappy one baby. And rightfully so. Look, you can't even tell. I mean, give me a break. Goodbye. So guys, I spent the last, 20 minutes talking about this dude who broke my heart, right? And I have not spoken a bit about my perfect grandmother.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about my grandma a little bit.
Yeah.
My grandma. My grandmother was my favorite person on earth. I don't care if I live to be 150, she's gonna be my favorite person on earth. My grandmother was my favorite thing about life. She taught me how to be a human being. She She was my best friend, y'all. And I know you've heard people say, oh yeah, no, she was my best friend. There were people who knew us in Atlanta for years who thought that my grandmother was my mother. Even though my mother was very active, a very good mother, very present. I love you. Very present. But just because every time they saw Big Birdie, they saw Little Birdie. So they thought she was my mom. To give you like even more clarification, like prime partying years and prime partying days, so like college and New Year's, I would opt out of going out with my friends. I'd stay home with my grandmother to watch the peach drop. And that was a riot, like it was so fun. And the years that I did go out, when the clock hit 12, you could find me in the corner on the phone with her because she had to be the person that I talked to in the new year. She had to be the first person. My grandmother, who was born in 1925, had 2 masters before she was 30.
Yes.
My parents each had masters. Masters, mom, or bachelors?
Masters,
Each had masters. like, I don't even know when they were born, but can you imagine? That just kind of the lineage.
They got it in 1911 and 1912.
Thank you, Mother.
Yes.
That's the lineage that I come from, you know what I mean? And I'm just kind of like the artist. But it's okay, that's another cabaret for another day. My grandmother was a lifeguard at some point in her life, a nurse. She ran a church. She was teacher of the year numerous times. Until she was well into her 80s, my grandmother would wake up every morning at like 5:30 and walk at least 3 miles. Every morning! I tried doing it like maybe 3 times. This is not for me. She was just like an astonishing woman. She would play piano. Like, God gave her so many gifts, and she made sure she used all of them before she left this earth. And I think that's astonishing, and I would love to follow those footsteps. So yeah, she's amazing. Let's see. So my lovely mother and my aunt made me sing and speak at my grandmother's funeral. Brutal. I mean, I did it, it was fine, but like brutal. And I said this at the funeral, and I think I'm going to say it again tonight because I feel like it should be heard again. And I really like the words, so I'm going to say it again directly to her. Grandma, when the world ends, I want to scream out into the void that I loved you more than anything in this entire world. And I hope that sound echoes and echoes and exists long after everything stops. Isn't that lovely? Yeah. Grandma was like a music aficionado. I grew up listening to all sorts of things. And she really liked country music, but not like new country, like classic country music. Bonnie Raitt and
Kenny Rogers.
That's amazing.
And in fact, when
Johnny
she
Cash.
was transitioning out of this world, she was laying in bed, she hadn't moved in a couple of days, and she hadn't opened her eyes in a couple of days. She was still breathing, but like she was leaving us. And my mom and my aunt and I were crowded around her bed, laughing, like kind of like just reliving some good memories. We came up with the right idea to play her some of her favorite songs. And I played her this song, and her arms started to move. I mean, she's so cool. Like, even transitioning out, she was cool. So, we're going to play this song, right? We're going to see some pictures of my grandmother to honor her because she's my favorite person. I'm like, why not? Some glasses of champagne are going to come around, and some of you don't drink, and that's fine. Just pour it in. Courtney's coming.